All right, well, welcome everyone. My name is Rachel Hirschman. I'm the Wellness Coordinator here in District 6, and welcome to our final session of our first ever virtual Wellness Week. It's been great to see so many of you throughout the week at different sessions. And today we have Troy Rivera speaking about mindfulness, and many of you may have joined us earlier in the week for a quick 15-minute session. And those of you that did know that we're in for a real treat today. We get double the amount of time to talk about mindfulness. So just really excited to have this time with Troy today. And I will share again, since several more people join, keep sharing that attendance sheet. I have it highlighted, at least on my end, the column that we're in today, to just insert your comment in the cell next to your name. And as always, just shoot me an email if you have trouble or you're on your phone or something like that, and I will mark you down for attendance. We have our live prize drawing tomorrow at noon. You don't have to be present to win, and I'll just take all of your attendance from the week and give you prize entries based on that. So I think that's everything, and I'll turn it over to you, Troy.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Troy Rivera. I am the assistant principal at Heath Middle School, if many of you don't know who I am. I am very big into mindfulness and meditation. And the one thing that I always love about mindfulness is it's not always about meditation, right? It's not always about meditation. It's just about various different activities. How do I bring myself to being in the space in this moment? Being present is what they like to say, or as we heard in many terms, is being grounded, right? Being grounded. And so one thing I do want to say is in the invite, Rachel has placed inside the link that you clicked on today, there is some files. I'm really big on the gratitude. And so I included some paperwork, some scripts that you can use for yourself on how to do some work at home when it comes to being mindful about gratitude. But the thing is, it's all it really goes around about the idea of breath work. And today we're going to do a couple of things now that we have a little bit more time, kind of going through those and really building on it. So in that file, you'll find that there's several worksheets. There's really three things that we talk about when it comes to mindfulness. Mindfulness is about being aware. It's about being aware in your present time. What emotions are coming up? What's causing me or what's triggering me to have these sense of emotions that I'm dealing with. So that's really a big thing that we work for with mindfulness. The second thing is that it allows us to really focus on our breathing. That's the one thing is we can control our rate of our heart rate. What everything's going around us, we do a lot of breathing activities. It's just simple deep breaths going in, and it can really regulate within minutes or even more than seconds in what our body is going through. And the third thing is, again, just really grounding ourselves and being present in the moment, which leads into that awareness, knowing what is the surroundings, what's happening outside of us or around us is this causing me to experience some of this triggering or experience some of this issues that are going on with me internally or externally, and going from there. So today we're going to do a few things. The first thing is we're going to look at doing a grateful kind of deep breathing. It's a 4-pattern breathing. So basically we're going to breathe, take deep breaths in for 4 seconds. You'll hold it for a little bit, and I'll be mindful about not holding too long so that way you don't pass out on me. And then when we release the air, we're not going to just slowly release it out. We're actually going to do it like a really puff. So the way I'll demonstrate is you'll take 4 deep breaths in. You'll breathe in 1, 2, and 3, and then you'll hold a little bit. And then when you shoot it out, you go, phew. So you're going to really push it out, get rid of it. So when you do that one part of the breathing, when you're pushing it out, what you really want to do is you want to release any tension. You really want to release any aggression that you may have, any anger, the emotions that are low frequency emotions. You want to release those in your deep breathing. So that's the key thing that you want to do. We'll do that a couple of rounds really to get ourselves geared in it. And then we'll talk about another activity that you can use. What I love about this particular one is it really clears it, and it really allows ourselves to fall into that idea of just really gaining ourselves with our emotion, releasing any tension in our body. So you really want to fill Where is it in my body that I'm feeling this tension, and kind of just recognize it and just really push it out. So how you want to do this is go ahead and get yourself comfortable. You can be sitting on a chair if you're at home, or if you want to lie down on the floor in your office and do this, you're more than welcome to. No one's here to judge, right? No one's here to judge. We're just here to give you some practice. So we'll do the 4 breathing, and then we will do, when we release again, when we exhale, we're going to push that air out with that really good force of releasing that. And then I'll give you our next step when we do our continuing our breathing. So go ahead and get yourself comfortable. Get yourself all nice and comfortable. Go ahead and close your eyes. And we'll go ahead and begin. I will guide you through the counting of your breath. So when I say inhale, and I'll give you the count of 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we'll hold. And then when I say exhale, that's where we're just going to do the, and I'll be doing it with you. So let's go ahead and get ourselves comfortable. Our eyes are closed, relaxing any tension in our body. If we feel any areas that may be tense, let's recognize them. Let's notice where they're at. And as we do our breathing activity, we're going to breathe into those areas, releasing any of that tension, releasing any of that, those tight muscles or that ache or that pain. All right, let's take our deep breath in, and here we go. In 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. And now exhale with the, good, good, good. I love that. I want you to really feel when we push that air out, we're really releasing. So if you have an area in your body that you're feeling that tension, when you push out your air on the exhale, you are noticing where that area is, and you're pushing that air out, and you're pushing out that tension or that pain or that ache with that air. All right, let's do another one. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. Now exhale, pushing that air out, getting ourselves really filling our body to relax, really allowing ourselves. When we do our deep breath in, there's no need to rush. You can feel the natural breathing of it and bringing ourselves into a peaceful state. Let's do it again. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. And exhale. Good. Let's do one more. All right, breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. And exhale. Good. As we continue to keep our eyes closed, I want you to take your hand and place it above your heart, feeling that heartbeat. You can do both hands or one. As you feel the heartbeats, I want you to be grateful for that beating of your heart, which brings the life. Keep us as grounded, knowing that we are still here, whole and one. The heartbeat reminds us of ourselves, of who we are and what we are. Take a few moments and just be grateful. Think of the things that you are grateful in your world, in your life. And when you feel that heartbeat, realize that heartbeat is you. And you are it. Being grateful for your family, for the things you have, for your home, for your wonderful career. Being grateful for this day that you were able to be here. For every day is a wonderful miracle day. We get up in the morning. Take a few more minutes and just feel that heartbeat. Good. You can feel it. A good little thump of the beat, bringing you that peace and that comfort. Now we're going to go ahead and do our 4 breathing, but this time when we release our air, when we exhale, we're not going to force the air out. We are going to release our air with a sigh. And what I mean by this is you take those 4 deep breaths in, and when we release, we're going to go nice and loud in your space and where you're at. And what that sigh is going to represent is releasing, again, any tension of our day, any tension that we may be experiencing now from this morning into this very moment, releasing it and bringing some peace and some harmony into our life and into our mind. If you feel yourself getting distracted with thoughts, allow the thoughts to be present, but don't judge them. Just let them come in and let them go. All right, we're going to take some deep breath in. Here we go. Counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. And now exhale with a sigh. Realizing that that sigh is pushing out any of that negative energy from the day that may be blocking the flow. Let's take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. Now our sigh. Releasing it. And feel, when you release that sigh, feel the tension, feel the stress, feel the pain and the aches just releasing out of that sigh. Bringing ourselves to a more clear space, a more humble space, a more grateful space. Take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. And release. Really just letting it out. Knowing that that sigh is clearing your inner cells and your flow of your energy, really bringing in more positive, more clarity, more cleanse. Let's do one more. Take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. And now let's exhale. Now allow yourself just to come into this mindful space here, being wonderful and calm. Just focus on your breathing in a natural state. Listen to that breathing. Feel that breathing. This is the life that lives within us, breath. It brings us in when we are born, and it's what leaves our body when we're ready to transpire and move into our next life. Filling that air in. Take a moment and just be with yourself. Be mindful of any things that may have happened today and just release them. Let them come in. Don't try to solve them. Recognize them. Name them. Is it sad? Is it joy? Is it happiness? Is it worrisome? Just recognize it and then let it go. Let it free, for it does nothing for you. It's just a thought, it's just a feeling that emotional state. Take a few more minutes and just be with yourself in this calmity. Be with yourself in this space. Sense what is around you. Sense what you're hearing, what you're feeling, where you're sitting or lying. Just recognize all that is abundant around you. Bringing that peace, bringing that clarity. Yes, fill that space, fill that energy, fill that love, fill that joy, filling you up, bringing that harmony. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Welcome back to the space. So that is one activity that I like to do. It's the 4 breath with the deep release sigh and the deep release pushing of the air. That is one mindful activity that I like to do. Um, Now that we have a little extra time and we're halfway through this, mindfulness is more than just meditation. It's not always about the meditation. Mindfulness is about other things that we can do. So another activity that you can do, especially like if you're dealing with students in the classroom, and I know we're such in a stressful kind of time right now that breathing and doing those kind of breathing activities will definitely really help you as the educator, help your students in the classroom, just really releasing that when things started getting tense. Mindfulness can also be about just kind of recognizing the things around you, the objects that surround your space. When you're outside, many of our students like to go outside, and you can do this during activities, during this part of your lesson. Just say, we need to take a mindful moment. And the great thing is you can go outside and just sit and observe, bring a chair and just look at the sky, stare up to the sky, and just be present in the moment, being mindful of that, right? Mindfulness brings in that. Another activity I like to do is I like to go out for a walk. I do some mindful walking, which I'm not out running a race. I'm not out trying to get my steps in, especially with the little wonderful health that we're doing right now with Step Bet. But going out and just enjoying, recognizing the trees around us, looking at and realizing that that is not just a pine tree, but that's a pine tree that has those small details of the pine needles on it, the brown branches. So mindful can be going outside for just a general walk and really bringing it with our students, bringing it into the classroom, um, taking them outside, getting that fresh air, doing breathing exercises from outside and bringing in that beautiful, wonderful, cool air or warm air, bringing that in. So the thing is that mindfulness, there's so much to it. And if you are looking for anything specific, or you're saying, you shared with us some documentation on different types of breathing practices. I have a whole plethora of resources that I can just share with you. And I've got a folder that I can give them to you. That way you can look at them. Some of them are some things like when I work with students in the office is we'll go for a walk. And sometimes our walk just says, we're just going to go for a walk. We're not going to talk. We're just going to be present. We're just going to be here in the moment. So that's another way that we can bring our students during this difficult time, and going from that, of course, keeping ourselves, following the protocols and keeping ourselves safe. But also a lot of this activities that we do in mindfulness they're simple. They're not very challenging. You don't want to make it into where it is a challenge. That's the one thing, because a lot of people feel it's a chore, it's a task. But you've got plenty of ways that we can share and build when it comes to the mindfulness. And I know in on Tuesday session they had asked, well, what about school stuff? So that's why I'm kind of addressing it. The simple breathing activity is a great way. There's a whole there's a lot of resources that show you different breathing activities, breathing exercises. Just being, staring at something and just finding a focal point and just recognizing your senses. But what I love about that is the thing is recognizing our emotions, because I think sometimes we put way too much value in our emotions, especially kind of guiding our students and how do I work through that, even as an individual. So when you start practicing some mindful activities and really putting that into practice, you will be able to share them with your students in order to help them grow and help them build to be more mindful about their body, about the way they're feeling, about their surroundings, especially if they're a little stressed out. They may be dealing with some anxiety. So there's a lot of that we can work with. One activity that I do love to do, and this is how we're going to close our session, is called the punching bag. And so we're going to close our eyes. And if you ever remember the punching bag that had the little sand on the bottom, I can remember having one that was a clown, because I'm not a big fan of clowns, but there was one and you just go punch it and it pop back up. This one's similar to that. So I'm going to guide you through this, and I will share this one out and I'll send it to Rachel and we can put it in the links, because this is a one that I did find that it's a really good resource on it. But it's called the punching bag. I'm going to guide you through this, and this is how we'll close up our session. And it shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. That way, if there's any questions, we can answer them. So go ahead and get back into your space. Go ahead and close your eyes. And as you gather yourself, focus on your breathing. Feel every breath. Feel the calmness of that breath. Feel the peace of that breath. As you have your eyes closed, I'm going to give you some different feelings or emotions. And what I want you to do is, if you felt that emotion or you've had felt that emotion, I just want you to simply and silently acknowledge to yourself the experience you had with that emotion. So our first emotion is happy. What can you acknowledge or the experience of happy? Sad. Feel the emotion of the experience of sad. Excited. Simply acknowledge if you've experienced excitement. Anxious. Peaceful. Bored. What did that experience of boredom bring? Restless. Curiosity. Seriousness. Feel, acknowledge that experience. Anger. Grateful. And loving. Now I want you to visualize that punching bag. Visualize, see it before you, knowing that that punching bag represents the emotions. The punching bag doesn't control you, you control it. And when you see the emotions appear or feel the emotions within that don't align to bringing you harmony and peace, visualize yourself seeing that emotion as the punching bag. If you're feeling the sadness or the anxious or anger, visualize yourself punching that bag and seeing the bag knock to the ground and sting. But when it hits the ground and starts to rise back up, those emotions stick to the ground, but the emotions of grateful, loving, happy, joyful come back up and keep you balanced and still. Feel that emotion, hit that punching bag again, but whatever emotion you're dealing with, and see that when it flops to the ground, that emotion sticks to the ground because it's not you. It's not part of you. And as the punching bag rises back up, you see the emotions of peaceful, gratitude, and love. Feel those emotions really bringing in that harmony within your body, giving you peace and clarity. Take a few seconds and just focus on your breathing. Recognize your breathing. Acknowledge your breathing. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes. So again, welcome back. That was the punching bag. And if it's something you want to use with your students or with yourself at home, please reach out to me. I can send it to you. We'll add it in. I'll send it to Rachel, so she'll have that as well. And if there's any questions, I'm here until 4:30. But thank you all for joining in. It was great to see many of you coming back for a second round of breathing activities and fun.
Thanks, Troy. That was great. Again, appreciate all the resources. And Diane was commenting she would love those resources. So I'll make sure to share those out when I share the recording. And feel free if anyone wants to unmute and ask questions or put them in the chat box, I can read them out. Yep, I think Michelle is out, says Dan.
Do that. It tends to do that. I mean, exactly. When after you've had a rough day and when you're releasing emotions.
Holy cow, I did. I fell asleep. That was wonderful.
It happens. It happens.
That's
There's that when I've done some of the work at home, I'll be doing it, and before you know it, I wake up and I'm like, did I just fall asleep? But that's a good thing, because when you experience the going into that trance, that's where the real work is. That means you're going into that level, that's the delta stage, where you're falling into the relax, and it's okay. Some people think like, man, every time I meditate or I do this breathing activity, I fall asleep, and is that bad? No, that's okay. There's no right or wrong, but it does what it does is allows you to really clear your system out in your body and bring that peace in. So that way, when you wake out of it, I love when I fall asleep, or doze off, I should say, from a meditation mindset and working through it, because then I come back a little bit more like rejuvenated. I'm not tired like when I'm sleeping at night. It's a different feel of tired. When I wake up, I have a lot more energy, and I feel like my muscles and my body are just more relaxed. Like the stress that I chose to carry throughout the day was released and let go. So that's good to hear.
And Amy commented, thank you so much. That was great. I used mindful walking today and it really helped me get through the day. Love that.
Next time when you're out for your walk, grab a leaf or grab an item. I always either grab rocks, or I'll take, if I find a leaf, or I'll grab a leaf from the tree. And as I'm walking, another mindful activity I like to do is I like to just feel the texture of it. I like to examine it as I'm looking at it, really bringing myself to aware that this is more than just a leaf. I pay a close attention to, really lightly feeling the ridges on it, to feeling that waxy side, to the rough side where the moisture comes in. Gratitude rocks, and this is my crazy thing that I love to do. So if I take a rock, I will meditate on that rock as I'm walking through, and then I come home and I put essential oils on it, and I give it away as a gratitude rock, and the card will tell you where I did it, and there's always some type of little gratitude prayer that I'll put with it as I'm walking through to whomever I give that to. So those are other ways that you can just take an object and just really, like in the office, I'll take my pen and I'm just filling it. I'm like, the texture is that smooth roughness. I just become one with the pen.
Thanks, guys. It was great.
Thanks, Amy.
You're welcome.
Rachel, thanks for everything this week. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, you bet. Glad you guys have enjoyed it. I have
Thanks.
as well.
Thanks. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
We're right at 4:30, so